Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Leo's Daily English. Before we dive into today's lesson, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button right now. It really helps us keep creating these real-life English lessons for you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chloe, and I'm so excited to be here. Leo, I really need today's lesson because, honestly, I had a bit of a disaster at a cafe yesterday.
Oh no, what happened? Was it the coffee shop panic?
Exactly. The line was moving so fast, the barista was looking at me, and my mind just went blank. I ended up just pointing at a picture and saying, "Hey, give me coffee, please." It felt so direct and a bit embarrassing.
Don't worry, Chloe. That nervous smile and nod or saying "give me" is a mistake thousands of learners make every day. In a service situation, "give me" can sound a bit demanding, even if you don't mean it that way.
I knew it felt a bit unnatural. I've studied English for years, but in that moment, I just couldn't find the right words.
That is exactly why today's topic is ordering at a coffee shop. We are going to walk through the entire experience, from choosing your drink to paying the bill. Chloe is going to say things the way many learners do, and I will show you the natural, confident version step by step.
I'm so ready. By the end of this, I want to be able to order my latte without feeling terrified.
I promise it will feel much less scary. Let's get started.
Picture this. You're standing in a coffee shop. It's a Tuesday morning, right in the middle of the busy morning rush.
Oh, yeah, the absolute worst time to be there.
Right. The air is thick with the smell of roasted coffee beans and, that sweet vanilla syrup. And over the speakers, some upbeat pop music is playing just a little too loudly.
It's always a little too loud.
Always. But the main sound, the sound you actually feel vibrating in your chest, is the pure chaos of the cafe. You hear the sharp hiss of the machine steaming milk. You hear the heavy thud of the barista knocking out the old coffee grounds. You hear like a dozen different conversations happening all at once. And in front of you, the line of customers is moving. And it is moving incredibly fast.
It really is the ultimate pressure cooker. I mean, you have loud noises, you have a strict time limit, and you have the social pressure of all those people waiting behind you. Everything just hits you at the exact same time.
Yeah, and you're watching the people ahead of you. They step up to the cash register, and they are speaking at lightning speed. They're rattling off these long, complicated orders. It sounds like a secret code.
Like a completely different language, even if it is English.
Exactly. Then the person in front of you takes their receipt, they step away, and a gap opens up. It's your turn. You step forward to the counter. The barista, who looks like they've already made, 500 coffees today, looks right at you. They make direct eye contact, offer a quick smile, and ask, "What can I get for you?"
And that is the exact second your mind just goes completely blank.
Completely blank. A moment ago, you have the perfect English sentence ready in your head. Now, nothing. The panic sets in.
Yeah.
You feel your face getting hot. The people behind you are looking at their watches.
Yeah.
You need to speak, but the words are just gone. If you were an English learner, especially if you're just starting out at the A1 or A2 level, and you felt that specific panic, we want you to know you are not alone. It happens to almost everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But why does it happen? Why do we lose all our words over a simple cup of coffee?
Well, it happens because your brain is trying to do way too much at once. Let's think of your brain like a smartphone or a computer. If you open 20 heavy applications at the exact same time, what happens to the phone?
It just freezes up.
Right. It freezes. It stops working. When you step up to that coffee counter, you are opening too many applications. You're trying to ignore the loud music. You're trying to understand the native speaker who is talking very fast. You're worrying about the people behind you. And on top of all that, you're frantically searching your memory for English vocabulary rules.
It's just massive cognitive overload.
Exactly. Your brain gets overwhelmed. In psychology, we actually call this a threat response. Your brain literally thinks the social pressure of the coffee shop line is a dangerous situation, so it freezes, the vocabulary vanishes, your computer crashes.
I have absolutely been there. You're just standing there, frozen, while the barista holds an empty paper cup, just staring at you.
It's the worst feeling.
So our mission for this deep dive today is to stop that computer crash. We're going to take that loud, fast, scary coffee shop experience, and we are going to break it apart. We're going to look at it step by step.
Because we know that for a beginner, real-world English can feel like trying to run on a highway before you even know how to walk.
Right. But what if we just, slow the cars down?
That is genuinely the best way to learn. You remove the surprise. If you know exactly what the barista is going to say and you know exactly what you are going to say back, there's nothing to fear. We're going to give you a very simple, predictable path to follow. You won't need to translate anything in your head. You'll just follow the path.
So as you listen today, we're going to act as your rehearsal space. The real world moves fast, but right now, you and I control the clock. We are going to practice together very slowly and safely.
I love that. A safe space to fail and try again.
Yeah. Let's start at the very beginning of the interaction. You step up to the counter. You need to tell them what you want. Looking at our sources for today, the very first rule, the golden rule for learners, is actually a warning. It says, in big letters, stop saying, give me coffee.
Yes, a huge red flag right there.
Now, I want to challenge this for a second. Let's say I'm a beginner. I look in my dictionary. The verb is to give. The pronoun is me. The noun is coffee. Give me coffee. It's grammatically correct. It's efficient. Why is this such a terrible thing to say?
It really comes down to cultural differences. In many languages, a direct translation of I want or give me is completely normal. It's just how you order food or buy a train ticket. It's just stating a fact, I have a need, please fulfill it.
Just being direct.
Right. But spoken English, especially in places like the United States, Canada, or the UK, has a very specific culture around customer service. In English, when you use the phrase give me, you are giving a command. It's an order.
Like a boss talking to an employee. Or, I don't know, a king commanding a servant, give me my crown.
Exactly. And even if you smile, and even if your voice is friendly, those two words, give me, they just sound harsh. To a native English speaker, it sounds demanding and rude. It breaks a major social rule.
Interesting. So it's not about grammar. It's about the vibe.
It's completely about the vibe. In English culture, we go out of our way to make our requests sound soft. We do not demand things from service workers. We ask them nicely. We try to create a feeling of equality. So when an English learner walks in and says, give me a coffee, the barista might feel a little bit insulted, even if they know the customer is still learning the language. It creates this tiny bit of tension right at the start.
That makes a lot of sense. You might say, give me the remote control to your brother while watching TV, but you would never say it to a stranger making your breakfast.
Never.
So we need to completely erase give me from our minds. Just pretend those words do not exist in the coffee shop. But what about I want? If I want a coffee, better.
Well, I want is slightly better than give me, but it still sounds a bit childish. Think of a little kid in a toy store. I want that toy. I want candy. It focuses entirely on your own desire. It still lacks that soft, polite cushion that English speakers really expect.
Okay, so we throw away give me and we throw away I want. What is the magic phrase? What's the correct way to start the sentence?
The phrase you want to use every single time is I would like, or to use the shorter, more natural version, I'd like.
I'd like. 3 simple sounds. I, D, like. Why does this work so much better?
Because it softens the demand. By saying, I would like, you're turning a demand into a gentle preference. You're saying, if it's possible, my choice is this. It shows respect. It tells the barista, I recognize that you are doing me a service, and I am asking politely.
It's the linguistic version of holding the door open for someone.
That is a perfect way to put it. It just makes the whole interaction smoother.
I love that idea of language as a way to hold the door open. And what's great about our sources today is that they point out this isn't just for coffee. This phrase is a master key for your entire life in an English-speaking country.
It truly is. If you only memorize one phrase as a beginner, make it, I'd like, you're at an airport, I'd like to check my bag, you're at a restaurant, I'd like the chicken, buying a train ticket, I'd like a ticket to London.
It's universal.
It works everywhere. When you start your sentence with, I'd like, the native speaker instantly thinks, oh, this is a polite person. They'll be more patient with you. They'll smile more. It changes the entire mood of the conversation.
So we need to build muscle memory for this phrase. We need your mouth to say it without your brain having to think about it. We are going to do a slow practice beat right now. I want you, the listener, to say this out loud. If you're walking down the street or sitting in your living room, just speak up.
Don't be shocked.
Notice the feeling of the words. Give me. is sharp and aggressive. Give.
Hey.
But I like it smooth. The did sound just slides right into the L sound. I'd like. Let's try it together. I'll leave a space for you to repeat after me. Ready? I'd like a coffee. Let's do it one more time. Focus on making it sound smooth and soft. I'd like a coffee. Beautiful.
That is your foundation. Once you know that you are starting the conversation politely, half of your anxiety is just going to disappear. You don't have to worry about sounding rude anymore.
All right, we have our polite opening. Now we have to actually tell them what kind of drink we want. And this is where pronunciation becomes a total minefield.
Oh, absolutely.
You would think the hard part is learning new words, but sometimes the hardest part is saying the words so the barista actually understands you over the noise of that espresso machine.
Clarity is everything in this environment. In a quiet classroom, your teacher can listen closely and understand your accent. But in a loud cafe, the barista is relying on recognizing familiar sound patterns. If your pronunciation of the main word, the coffee itself, is confusing, the whole transaction stops. They have to lean in and say, "Sorry, what was that?" And then your panic comes rushing back.
So let's make sure that doesn't happen. Let's look at the two most common drinks people order and fix the specific traps that learners fall into. First up is the classic, the latte. Now, latte is an Italian word. It literally means milk in Italian. If an English learner tries to say it with a beautiful, authentic Italian accent, why might that cause a problem in an American or British cafe?
Because English speakers have changed the way the word sounds to fit their own language rules. If you walk into a cafe in Chicago or London and say it the authentic Italian way, the barista might be totally confused. They aren't listening for Italian. They're listening for the English version of the word.
Right, the localized version.
Exactly. The biggest difference is where we put the stress. The heavy emphasis on the word.
How does an English speaker say it? Let's break down the sounds for everyone.
It's 2 syllables. The first part is L-A-H. You want to open your mouth wide like you're at the doctor's office showing them your throat. L-A-H. The second part is te. It rhymes with words like say or day, so you put those together. L-A-H, te. But the real secret is the heavy stress on that first part. You hit the L-A-H very hard and loud, and you let the te slide away softly. L-H, te.
That's almost like a heartbeat. Boom bap. L-A-T.
That is a really good way to think of it. If you stress both parts equally, like latte, it gets lost in the background noise of the cafe. But if you hit that first syllable hard, it cuts right through the music and the noise. The barista's brain hears that heavy LAH and instantly knows what you want.
Let's practice that. Remember the heartbeat. Heavy on the first part, soft on the second. Open your mouth wide for the ah sound. Latte. Let's do it again. Don't be shy. Hit that first sound hard. Latte. Great. Now let's talk about the other big one, the foundation of almost every drink, espresso. Now this is an interesting one because I hear native English speakers mess this word up all the time. They put letter X in it. They say espresso. Why do they do that? And should a beginner copy them to sound more local?
It is true. Espresso is one of the most common pronunciation mistakes made by native speakers. They likely do it because they associate the drink with the word express, as in an express train or something that is made very fast. It makes logical sense in their heads.
Sure.
But you should absolutely not copy this mistake.
Why not? If the barista understands espresso, what's the harm?
2 reasons. First, anyone who works in coffee considers it a really annoying error. You want to sound clear and polite, not like someone making a common mistake. Second, and more importantly for a beginner, adding that harsh X sound, that K sound in your throat, actually makes the word harder to say quickly. It breaks the smooth flow of your sentence.
So how do we say it correctly? How do we remove that phantom X?
We need to start with a very clean, soft S sound, like a snake hissing. S. No X, no K sound, just a smooth hiss. S. The word has 3 parts. S, press, O. The heavy heartbeat stress goes right in the middle on the press. Espresso.
Let's try that. I really want you to focus on that soft snake sound at the very beginning. S. Espresso. Hit that middle part hard. Espresso. One more time. Espresso. All right, we have the building blocks. Let's put the polite opening together with our clear pronunciation. We're going to build the sentence. Again, we are going slow. There is no one waiting behind you. Repeat after me. I'd like a latte. Smooth and easy. Let's try the other one. I'd like an espresso. Notice that.
Yeah, you might notice a tiny grammar rule we just used there. We said a latte, but we said an espresso. Because espresso starts with the vowel sound, we use an to connect the words. An espresso. It stops you from having to pause your breath between the words. It keeps the sentence flowing.
I'd like an espresso. It really does just roll off the tongue. Okay, so we can order a basic drink politely. 20 years ago, that would be the end of the conversation. But today, if you go into a coffee shop, the menu is massive. It's not just about coffee anymore. It's about customizing your coffee.
It's a whole science now.
It really is. This brings us to our next major challenge for a learner, navigating milk types. You don't just ask for a latte anymore. You have to tell them what kind of milk you want inside it.
Right.
We have regular milk. We have milk with no fat. We have milk made from plants. It's a lot of new vocabulary.
And this is where the brain freeze often returns. A beginner might know the word for latte, and they might know the word for oat milk, but when they stand at the counter, they panic and just throw the words at the barista in a random order. They say, latte, oat, like me.
Word soup, just a jumble of nouns.
Exactly. To avoid the word soup, you need a simple word pattern, a formula. If you have a clear pattern in your head, you don't have to invent grammar under pressure. You just fill in the blanks.
What is the pattern for adding a specific milk to your order?
The pattern has 4 simple pieces. Piece 1, the polite opening, I'd like. Piece 2, the drink, a latte. Piece 3, the connection word, with. Piece 4, the milk type, oat milk. So the full pattern is I'd like, plus drink, plus with, plus milk type. The most important piece of that puzzle is the little word with.
With. Why is that tiny word so important?
Because it acts like glue. It tells the barista, get ready, I am about to change the drink I just ordered. It connects the noun to the customization smoothly. Let's look at 2 very common milk types you'll see everywhere today. Skim milk. This is traditional dairy milk, but with the fat removed. And oat milk. This is a very popular plant-based alternative.
Skim milk and oat milk. Short, simple words. Let's practice building the whole sentence using our pattern. Let's imagine you want a latte, and you want it made with oat milk. We take our pieces. I'd like a latte with oat milk. I'd like a latte with oat milk. Try it yourself. Put the pieces together slowly. I'd like a latte with oat milk. Now let's try a different combination. An espresso with skim milk. Maybe you want a little macchiato style drink. I'd like an espresso with skim milk. Your turn. Take your time. Awesome.
That is perfectly structured. Now, I want to address something very important about speed. When you hear a native speaker order a latte with oat milk, they will probably say it in one fast breath. The temptation for a learner is to try and match that speed. You feel like you're wasting the barista's time if you speak slowly.
Oh, the pressure to talk fast is huge. You just want to say the words and get out of there.
But speaking fast is a trap. When a beginner tries to speak at native speed, their pronunciation gets messy. They forget the word with. They stumble over the sounds. And what's the result? The barista doesn't understand. They ask you to repeat it. And now you have actually slowed the line down much more than if you had just spoken slowly in the first place.
That is such a crucial point. Rushing causes mistakes, and mistakes take longer to fix.
Exactly. Speaking slowly and clearly is not a sign of bad English. It's a sign of confidence. It tells the barista, I know exactly what I want, and I am making sure you hear me. Imagine you're reading a telephone number to a friend. You don't rush. You leave a tiny space between each number. Do the same thing with your order. Give each word a little room to breathe. I'd like a latte with oat milk.
Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Okay, we have successfully ordered the drink. We were polite, we were clear, we added our custom milk. We're feeling good. But just when you reach for your wallet to pay, the barista is going to ask you a question. And this specific question causes more panic for English learners than almost anything else.
Oh, this is a big one. This question is a perfect example of why textbook English and real-world spoken English are 2 completely different things.
How so?
Well, if you read an English textbook, the barista will look at you clearly and ask, will you be drinking this coffee inside the cafe or will you be taking it away with you? But in the real world, the barista has asked this question 300 times today. Their brain is tired, their mouth is tired, so they don't say all the words clearly. They mash them all together into one long, blurry sound.
Like a blurry photograph, but for your ears. What does this blurry question actually sound like?
The written words are for here or to go. But when spoken quickly, the consonants disappear and the vowels just blend together. It usually sounds something like fret or go.
Fred Ortko. That doesn't even sound like English. If I'm an A1 learner and I've been studying flashcards all week and the barista hits me with Fred Ortko, I'm going to be terrified. I think I studied the wrong language. How do we survive this? How do we understand a sentence when the words are all melted together like that?
You survive by changing your strategy. You have to stop trying to translate every single word. If you try to hear the word for and then the word here, you're going to fail because those individual words don't really exist in that blurry sound. Instead, you need to use pattern recognition. You know this question is coming. The cafe needs to know if they should put your coffee in a ceramic mug or a paper cup. So you aren't listening for the whole sentence. You are only listening for one tiny specific sound in the middle. You are listening for the word or.
Or. Why is that the secret key?
Because or is the hinge of the sentence. Even when people speak incredibly fast and mumble their words, they still usually pronounce the vowel sound in or clearly. It sounds like a choice. Something, something, or something, something. The moment your brain hears that or sound with a questioning tone at the end, you don't need to understand the rest of the words. You know exactly what they are asking. They're asking about the destination of the coffee.
That is a massive relief. You aren't taking a listening test on the whole sentence. You're just waiting for the trigger word. Or. Okay, so we heard the trigger word. We know they want to know where we are drinking the coffee. How do we answer? Do we say, I would like to take this coffee outside with me, please?
No. Keep it as short as possible. You only need 2 simple phrases. If you want to sit at a table inside, you say, for here, please. If you want to take the cup and leave, you say, to go, please.
For here, please, and to go, please. They're very short. But sometimes, in the panic of the moment, learners mix them up. They mean to stay, but they accidentally say to go. How can we lock these 2 phrases into our memory so we don't confuse them?
One of the best ways to memorize language is to connect the words to a physical feeling in your body. We call this visualization. I want you to try this right now. First, I want you to imagine you are in a cafe. Imagine finding a nice, comfortable chair. You sit down, you put your hands on the table, you are staying in one place. As you feel that sensation of sitting down, say the words out loud for here, please. You're tying the word here to the feeling of the chair. Now let's change the picture. Imagine you have a paper cup in your hand. You turn around, you push open the heavy glass door of the cafe, and you step out onto the busy street. You are walking. You are moving away. As you feel that sensation of walking out the door, say the words, to go, please. It really works.
That is a great trick. Here is sitting, go is walking. If you connect the word to the action, your brain won't mix them up. So we've handled the tricky question. In a perfect world, you pay, you get your coffee, and you have a great day. But, we know the real world is messy. Sometimes things go wrong. And for an English learner, a mistake is the scariest part of all. What happens when there is a misunderstanding? Let's say the music is loud, or maybe you just get nervous, and your mouth says the wrong word. You wanted oat milk, but you accidentally said skim milk. What's the natural reaction for a beginner in that moment?
The natural reaction is usually total surrender. A learner will realize they made a mistake, they'll feel a spike of embarrassment, and they'll think, oh no, my English isn't good enough to explain this complicated problem. If I try to fix it, I'm going to look foolish. So they just smile, they pay for the wrong drink, and they walk out of the store feeling defeated. They end up drinking milk they didn't even want, just to avoid a conversation.
The surrender and drink the wrong coffee maneuver. I have absolutely done this while traveling. You just take the cup and think, well, I guess I'm drinking a black tea instead of a hot chocolate today. This is my life now.
We've all been there.
But we don't want you to do that. We want you to feel confident enough to fix the mistake. How do we do that without feeling embarrassed?
First, you have to accept a basic truth. Native English speakers make mistakes all the time. Every single day, a native speaker says the wrong word or changes their mind halfway through an order. If you make a mistake, the barista is not judging your intelligence. They are not grading your English skills. To them, it is just a tiny data error. That is all it is. A small piece of incorrect data that needs to be updated.
Just a data error. That really takes all the shame away. So how do we update the data? We need a simple tool to fix our own mistakes gracefully.
If you realize that you said the wrong word, you use this phrase, sorry, I meant, let's break that down. Sorry. It's just a polite cushion. It shows you're friendly. And I meant is the past tense of mean. It tells the barista, my intention was this word, even though my mouth said that word.
So if I said skim milk, but I wanted oat milk, I would just stop and say, sorry, I meant oat milk.
Exactly. It's fast, it's polite, and it completely solves the problem. You don't need to explain why you made the mistake. You don't need to say, I am learning English and I got confused. Just give them the correct data.
Let's practice fixing a mistake. Imagine you just heard yourself order the wrong milk. Take a breath and give them the new data. Sorry, I meant oat milk. It feels very easy when you have the right tool. But what if it isn't your mistake? What if you spoke perfectly clearly? You said, I'd like a latte with oat milk. But the barista misheard you. The barista looks at you and says, okay, a latte with whole milk. You have to correct them. And that feels dangerous for a beginner. You don't want to say, no, you were wrong. I said oat. That sounds aggressive. How do we correct a native speaker politely?
You need a gentle contradiction word, a word that acts like a shock absorber. And the best word for this in English is actually.
Actually, that is a very powerful little word.
It is magic in conversational English. When you start a sentence with, actually, you are telling the listener, I'm about to correct you, but I'm doing it nicely. We are still friends. It softens the blow of saying no. So the barista says, latte with whole milk. You just smile slightly, shake your head a little, and say, actually, oat milk, please.
Actually, oat milk, please. It doesn't sound like a fight at all. It just sounds like a helpful reminder. Let's practice correcting the barista. Use that magic shock absorber word. Actually, oat milk, please. Perfect.
Having these two phrases ready, sorry I meant, and actually, acts like a safety net. If you know you have a safety net, you won't be as afraid of falling. You won't panic about making a mistake because you know exactly how to fix it in 3 seconds.
We're building some serious armor here. We know how to order, we know how to handle the tricky questions, and we know how to fix errors. We're almost at the finish line. Usually right before you pay, the barista will do one final step to make sure everything is correct. We call this the readback.
The readback is standard practice in customer service. The barista will look at their computer screen and they will repeat your entire order back to you. But here's the danger. They will usually do this very, very fast.
Right. They'll look at the screen and say, okay, so we have a latte with oat milk to go. That'll be $4.50. It's another wall of fast, blurry sound. A beginner might freeze again, thinking, I didn't understand half the words they just said.
Once again, you have to change your listening strategy. The readback is not an English test. You do not need to translate every single word. All those extra words, okay, so we have, they're just filler. They don't matter. Your only job during the readback is to listen for the anchors, the key words that you gave them earlier.
The data points.
Yes, you are just scanning that fast sentence for 3 words. Latte, oat, go. If you hear those 3 words, the order is correct. Your brain can ignore everything else. You just smile and confirm it.
How do we confirm it simply?
A simple yes works perfectly. Or if you want to sound very natural, you can say, that's right.
That's right. Easy. Okay, the coffee is ordered. The payment is done. We reach the absolute final moment of the interaction, and this is a moment you cannot skip. You have to close the conversation correctly.
Remember how we started the interaction? We talked about the cultural importance of politeness in English. We used I'd like to show respect. You must end the interaction with that exact same level of respect. You have to say thank you.
It sounds so basic. Everyone learns thank you on their first day of English.
Yeah.
But why is it so important to actually say it out loud in this specific moment? What happens if I just take my receipt, turn around, and walk away silently?
If you walk away in silence, it leaves a cold feeling. It makes the transaction feel robotic, as if the barista is just a machine dispensing coffee. Saying thank you, or the shorter thanks, is the way English speakers officially close the social contract. It signals that the business is finished, and we both acknowledge each other as human beings. Even if it is a busy cafe, making brief eye contact and saying thank you is required to leave a good impression.
It's the bow on top of the present. So let's look back at the path we just walked down. It's amazing how much structure is hiding inside a simple 3-minute conversation. We started softly to show respect. I'd like. We made sure our noun cut through the noise. A latte. We used a simple pattern to add our custom detail. With oat milk. We listened for the OR to catch the tricky question and answered with an action in mind. To go, please. We learned how to fix data errors calmly. Actually, oat milk. And finally, we listened for our keywords, confirmed and closed with respect. Thank you.
When you break it down into those clear steps, it is no longer a chaotic, terrifying experience. It's just a simple set of stairs. You just take them one at a time.
And now it is time to climb those stairs. This brings us to our final exercise, the grand finale. We are going to put you to the test with a comprehensive simulation. We're going to run through the entire coffee shop experience from the moment you step up to the register to the moment you say goodbye. We will use all the vocabulary and all the strategies we just learned.
This is where theory turns into real-world confidence. I'm excited for this.
Here's how this will work. I'm going to play the role of the barista. I'm going to ask the standard questions. Our expert is going to act as your internal coach. They will pause the simulation, and they will tell you exactly what you need to do next. We are going to run this at a slow, comfortable A1 pace. You have plenty of time, but I want you to treat it like it's real. Wherever you are right now, I want you to speak your answers out loud. Use a clear, confident voice.
Take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back.
Imagine the cafe. Hear the background noise. See the counter. You step forward. I make eye contact with you. Here we go.
Hi there. What can I get for you today?
Okay, the interaction has begun. Remember our golden rule. Do not say, give me. Use your polite opening, state your core drink clearly, and add your milk type using our pattern. You want a latte with oat milk. Build the sentence. Speak now.
Great. A latte with oat milk. And is that for here or to go?
You caught the word or. They need a destination. Visualize yourself holding the cup and walking out the door into the street. Deliver your short answer. Speak now. Got it. So that is a latte with skim milk to go. That will be $4.50.
Wait. Listen to the data. The barista said skim milk, but you wanted oat milk. Do not panic. Do not surrender. Use your polite contradiction word to correct the error gently. Speak now.
Oh, my mistake. Let me fix that. A latte with oat milk to go. Your drink will be right out at the end of the counter.
Excellent correction. The data is fixed. Now the transaction is over. Close the interaction politely before you walk away. What is your final phrase?
And relax. We are stepping out of the simulation. Listener, if you just spoke those phrases out loud, I want you to take a second and be really proud of yourself. You just successfully navigated a multi-step English conversation. You ordered a custom drink, you handled a fast question about location, and you even corrected a native speaker's mistake without being rude. And you did it all smoothly.
It is a real achievement. Look at the difference between the beginning of our deep dive and now. We started with a situation that caused your brain to freeze. It felt like a wall of impossible noise. But by slowing it down, learning the structure, and predicting the steps, you took total control of the situation. You were not a victim of the fast-moving line. You drove the conversation.
You took the power back. Let's do a quick recap of the tools we put in your toolbox today. First, we learned that politeness is everything. We threw away "give me" and replaced it with the magic key "I'd like." Second, we made sure our words could be heard over the noise. We put heavy stress on the first part of LAHT, and we hissed like a snake to make a clean espresso without a fake X.
Third, we learned a simple building block pattern to add any kind of milk we want, using the word "with" as our glue. And we learned that speaking slowly is better than speaking fast.
Fourth, we stopped trying to translate the blurry question "for" or "to go," and just listened for the word "or," answering with our physical visualization. Fifth, we removed the fear of making mistakes. We realized it's just a data error, and we learned to fix it gracefully, using words like "actually."
And finally, we learned to listen only for our keywords during the fast readback, and to always seal the deal with a clear "thank you." It is a complete system.
It really is. And as we finish our deep dive today, I want to leave you with one big idea to think about. We've spent this entire time talking about a 3-minute conversation in a coffee shop. Why does this tiny interaction matter so much?
It matters because of what it does to your confidence. When you are a beginner, English feels like a giant, scary mountain. It feels like a test you have to pass in a classroom. But language isn't a test. It's a tool. It's how human beings connect with each other.
Exactly. When you walk into a cafe, use this system, order your drink perfectly, correct a mistake, and get a warm smile from the barista, you realize something amazing. You realize that you're actually doing it. You're living in a new language.
And if you can conquer the terrifying rush of a coffee shop line, you can conquer anything. You can use these exact same tools: politeness, clarity, speaking slowly, fixing mistakes calmly, to buy train tickets, to ask for directions, to check into a hotel. The coffee shop is just practice. The real reward is knowing that you have the power to walk out into the world and participate in it.
The coffee is just a bonus. The real prize is the confidence. So your mission is set. The next time you find yourself standing in that fast-moving line, smelling the coffee beans, hearing the loud music, and feeling your heart start to beat a little faster, I want you to remember this practice. Take a deep breath. Remember your tools. Step up to the counter and order your drink with total confidence. You are ready.
Wow, Chloe, we covered so much today. We went through everything from choosing your drink to asking for the bill. How are you feeling now?
Honestly, Leo, I feel so much more confident. I realize now that those coffee shop panic moments happen because I just didn't have the right tools.
Exactly. And before we finish, let's do a quick review. I will say the learner mistake, and Chloe and everyone watching at home, please say the natural version out loud with us. Ready?
Ready.
Mistake. Give me a latte.
Natural? I'd like a latte, please.
Mistake. What food is good here?
Natural? What do you recommend?
Mistake. Bill.
Natural? Could I have the bill, please?
Perfect. Every one of those corrections is small, but they are the difference between sounding like a textbook and sounding like a real, confident English speaker. Remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
That's right. And now it's time for our question of the day. What is your favorite coffee to order? Is it a latte, a cappuccino, or maybe a simple black coffee?
Write your answer in the comments below. We read every single comment, and we love giving a thumbs up to everyone who practices with us.
If today's lesson helped you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend who is also learning English.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss our real-life English lessons. Thank you so much for being here today. Leo's Daily English is your place to grow.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.